Hey, it's Brooklyn Lou the Skeptic, and today I want to talk to you about something very important: Judeo-Christian values. Now, I'm making this video because I watched a video of the Tim Pool show where Justin from the Deconstruction Zone was debating Mike Jones of Inspiring Philosophy, and I was disgusted to watch Jones insist that Judeo-Christian values are superior to other cultures and other people groups. So let's just look at just a couple of Judeo-Christian values from a historical perspective. Okay, first, Judaism originated in the Middle East, and it did so around 3,500 to 4,000 years ago. The story goes that God chose Abraham and Sarah, his wife, to start a new culture. This culture valued land, and their God promised them land. This land was, of course, in the Middle East. It was the nation of Israel. It was not all of the world. It was a region of the world, a small region. Now, note, of course, we know that there were many cultures that predate Judaism and Christianity. Just one of these cultures and peoples were native indigenous people of Central, South, and North America. You know, the Indians. Now, real archaeological evidence, not just stories and beliefs, show us that these cultures were firmly established 12 to 15,000 years ago. And this predates Judaism and Christianity by at least 8,000 years. And we know that the Judeo-Christian God was not a thing with these people. He was not followed, worshipped, adored, or even known to exist to these people. Let that sink in. The God of the Bible apparently chose not to reveal himself to them, but only chose to reveal himself to a small regional people of the Mideast. Christians like to tell stories about their great history, but they always fail to tell the whole story. They have an agenda, and it's obvious. Now, fast forward to 1492, when Christopher Columbus made his voyage to an unknown land. And he named this land San Salvador. Again, no regards to the human beings who were already living there. Does this remind you of anything? How about the renaming of areas such as the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America? It does to me, because this is how colonialism works. And we are seeing it rear its ugly head in today's American politics, where Trumpism is fueled by Christian nationalism and is operating in much the very same way. Now, the European settlers who came into South, Central, and North America were in fact Christians. Again, let that sink in. These Christian colonists and missionaries categorized native Indians as heathens because they did not believe what they did. Ironically, they borrowed this idea from Judaism, as the word in the Old Testament was goyim, and this meant any non-Jew. So the Christians took that word, and they now decided to use it as any non-Christian. So a heathen became any non-Christian to them. You see, Christians throughout history have relished in proclaiming that they are the only religion, culture, or belief system that has the truth, and that they are the only religion that God accepts. Humans are either in or out. And if you're out, that means that you have no reason to live. Now, sadly, these Christian European settlers massacred an estimated 36 to 56 million human beings because of their Judeo-Christian values, which of course included the land. You see, they believed that they were entitled to other people's land, and that the people who were there before them, they just had to go. These Christian settlers did this through outright war, grape, using the G just for YouTube purposes, slavery, and disease, which was brought over by the Christian settlers. Now, how ironic is that? All right. It was the Christian settlers who were dirty, and they brought over infectious disease, including smallpox. Also, they enslaved Indians. All right, this is no surprise because Christians have done this up until the Civil War, right here in America. Great heroes of the faith were indeed slave owners, because Christians did not have a problem with slavery up until the Civil War era. Great heroes of the faith were indeed slave owners, including Jonathan Edwards, a leader of the Great Awakening of the 1700s, George Whitefield, another Methodist preacher in the 1700s, and American fathers such as George Washington, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, and Andrew Jackson were all slave owners. So Mike Jones, you can spare us the nonsense that it was Christianity that stopped slavery. It was not. It was common sense. It was human decency and rational thinking that was spurred on by the Enlightenment led to the abolition of slavery. And this was in spite of Judeo-Christian values. Now, today, we see this type of Christianity all around us. We see American leaders say that we will own the Gaza, even though we have no legal right to this land. We see American Christians supporting Putin's Russia over Ukraine. We see Christians pushing Christian prayer and the Ten Commandments to be put into our public schools. We see Christians proclaiming that their voice is more important than others. We, as secular, non-religious people, need to push back and not let Judeo-Christian values run our country. We must not let history repeat itself. We must stand tall, stand for common sense, decency, and secular thinking, rather than corrupt, old, ancient Judeo-Christian values, because they can be rather disgusting. So please subscribe if you like my videos, share my videos, and let's build a community that stands for truth and not religion.